Welcome to Fresno Raceway for the first race in the Left Turn Productions Stop Motion Series season here in 2020. This track was the same track that hosted the first ever Your Cup Series race, so I thought it'd only be fitting to do the same for the Left Turn Productions Stop Motion Series. Now, you might have noticed here that the field is much bigger than it was in the Clash because we got 26 entries now. This will be the full field of cars that will be competing. And as you can see, there are also different types of cars. Back in the Clash, it was the Legend Series cars, and in this race, it is the Cup Series cars. They will also be running street stock cars next time at Frankfurt. So let's get into your stories here today. The storylines, drivers to watch for, whatever you want to call it. So you got Hope Wilmington, one of 5 drivers to finish the Clash. She is starting more towards the back here, and she was up in the front most of the time in the Clash, and was actually had the pole and led most of the laps, but fell back towards the end. But can she rebound from her poor 23rd place starting spot? Then you've got 2 more of the drivers that finished the Clash, Grant Hoover and Brendan Creason. Hoover actually almost won the race, lost to Brady Wilmington in a photo finish, and he was also a little bit aggressive in that race as he caused the 2 cautions that were in that race. And then you have your Clash winner here, Brady Wilmington. He got his 29th stop motion win and his team's 21st. He's trying to look to go back-to-back here and get himself his 30th stop motion win. And then on the front row, you've got James Johnson, the last of the finishers in last week's Clash, and alongside him, Scarlett Rose, who was also in the Clash. So let's look at your starting lineup here. Row 1 is James Johnson and Scarlett Rose. Row 2 is Brian Ferris and Riley Nyman. Row 3, Caleb Rose and Brady Wilmington. Row 4 is Shane Wensloff and Trivia May. And row 5 is James Edwards and Cookie. Row 6 is Flammable Camaro and Jacob Hersner. Row 7, Jake Hoover and Sam Lester. Row 8, Caleb Campbell and GamePlayer88. Row 9 is Brendan Creason and Grant Hoover. And in row 10, Zachary DeLello and Richard Herman. Row 11, you've got the Toledo brothers, Jeff on the inside, LJ on the outside. In row number 12, you've got Hope Wilmington and the 34 of Trey Wright. And in the last row, you have Dee Pepper and Ray Alton. So there will be 12 laps in this race. At the end of lap 6, the midway points will be handed out, but there won't be a caution like a stage. It'll just be like how it was in the Irwin Tools Cup Series and the Coca-Cola Premier Series, where they just go by and get the points. So, pace car rolls off here. You've got a Ford and a Chevy leading them down to the green flag, and we're underway here at Fresno. Field flies on by here as Scarlett Rose pretty quickly takes the lead away. James Johnson apparently did not have a good start. Brian Ferris moving up to second, and Scarlett Rose will lead the first lap of the Left Turn Production Stop Motion Series points-paying races. Now you've got James Johnson trying to get back in it. Oh, they're 3 wide for the lead maybe here. Coming on the straightaway, they are 3 wide. Ferris on the top, Johnson in the middle. Ferris gives in, and Rose gives in as well. And we've got a bit of an issue here on the front straightaway. Several cars involved. I see the 24 in it, the 18, the 40, and more involved in this pileup on the front straightaway after James Johnson took the lead. Jeff Toledo is spun around in the 1 car. Shane Wensloff, Your Cup Series Season 2 champion, will not win this race. And there is the rookie Cookie in the M&M's car. And then back there up front, you've got both of the front row motorsports cars. That's very unfortunate for them. That is DeLello in the 38 and Trey Wright in the 34, and also the 24 Hendrick Motorsports entry of GamePlayer88. So let's look at the replay. So the first caution comes out on lap number 3, and it all started with the 18 of Cookie running inside the top 10. It looks like he got bumped from the 17 of Jake Hoover. And then when the 18 came down, The 40 of Shane Winslow could not avoid him. And he comes up, actually collects Grant Hoover in the 25. And there you can see the 24 Game Player 88 just head on into the 18. That was a pretty hard hit, but he was okay. Jeff Toledo spinning through the grass, and you can see Trey Wright just barrel in there at the last second. There is some pretty good wreck avoidance in this as well, if we can go back and look at that. Watch the 46 of Caleb Campbell on the bottom right of your screen. Watch him barely miss hitting the 18, and Flammable Camaro does the same. It looks like Toledo self-spun himself to avoid the crash, and it doesn't look like he has any damage, so he'll probably be okay. How about the 37 of Richard Herman shooting right through the middle? He might have gotten a little bit of damage, but he was able to get through that. So a lot of good wreck avoidance, but unfortunately a lot of beat-up race cars there. The 40, the 18, the 24, the 34, and the 38 are all out of the race. Grant Hoover and Jeff Toledo both came into the pits for repairs, but they are able to continue, and we're going to get you the restart here on lap number 4. All right, James Johnson and Brian Ferris, a couple of Fords there. Trivia May also in this top 3. Green flag is back out here on lap number 4, and Ferris gets a good push on the outside. Brian Ferris gonna get out to a big lead here as they're 3 wide behind him. A huge pack going down the back straightaway. Very wide backstretch. You can make lots of moves down there. And now here comes Ferris's teammate Trivia May trying to get the lead, but it's not going to happen there. As we are now on lap number 5, Ferris still in the lead. He is the Street Stock Series champion, so he knows how to get it done here on this channel. But James Johnson is right on his back bumper. Jacob Hersner trying to challenge for 3rd place here as we go back to the 10th place runner right now is Caleb Campbell. At the end of this lap right here, lap 6, the top 10 will get points. Caleb Campbell currently in position to get the last of those. Jacob Hersner moving up to 3rd now. Oh, we've got contact. Scarlet Rose is around, and the caution's going to come out just before the end of that first half there. And as you can see here, the drivers come by. Brian Ferris will get the most points out of that, and Caleb Campbell did in fact get that last spot, so he will get 1 point for placing 10th at the halfway point of the race. So here is your midway results here as well. You've got the driver name and driver number and stuff, followed by how many points they got. Brian Ferris was in the lead, so he gets 10. James Johnson gets 9. Trivia May 8. Jacob Hersner 7. Riley Nyman with a strong showing in the Roush Fenway racing car. He gets 5th in that, and he gets 6 points for that. Hope Wilmington, who remember started 23rd, made it all the way up to 6th, and was able to nab up 5 points. Then you see the 2 Pacific Racing cars, 7th and 8th there. Jake Hoover, the other Roush Fenway car, in 9th, and Caleb Campbell again just sneaking in for that last point. But let's go look at the replay of what happened to Scarlet Rose, because she was in a position to get some points, and she's not going to get any after that midway. So as you can see, Scarlet Rose back there got a tap from the 6 of Riley Nyman, and I believe she kept it clean, but they threw the caution anyway just to be safe. And remember, the caution was not going to come out at the end of this lap. It's not like a stage, they're just handing out points. So you're probably not going to see that midway results graphic very much now that I think about it. But yeah, Scarlet Rose dropped outside of the top 10 because of that spin, and she will have to start towards the back here on this restart. Alright, you've got 2 Penske cars on the inside, and then you've got James Johnson and Jacob Hersner on the outside. Green flag is back in the air here on lap number 8. There you see the Wilmingtons up on the top side. Hope and Brady. Can they make it stick? James Johnson, by the way, has just taken the lead back away from Brian Ferris. And here comes Hope Wilmington on the outside trying to go for 2nd. She started 23rd and has already made her way back up into the top 5. Only a few laps to go. Trivia May gets to the back bumper. Can she challenge for the lead? She has never won on this channel, but she could here. Oh, Ferris is into the outside wall. And caution is out. And that 78 car barely missed him. Oh, they're piling up behind as well. Jake Hoover, Brady Wilmington, and more pile up behind Brian Ferris. So 2 separate accidents here are going to bring out the caution flag, it appears. So there's Ferris's car. Oh, man. Brendan Creason, LJ Toledo, Brady Wilmington, and Jake Hoover all junked on the bottom of turn number 2. Let's see what happened here in the replay. So here's the replay of Brian Ferris's crash. Remember, Ferris won the midway, and he won the midway bonus, but he's not going to win the race here today. Fortunately, he did win that, so he won't fall too far back in the points. And as you can see right there, he tried to block Hope Wilmington. Didn't work out. Hope actually has some damage herself, so she's going to need to go all the way back to the back of the pack again to fix that. Sam Lester almost ran into the side of the 12 car, but missed him. Meanwhile, behind them, there was another accident. Here you can see it from a turn 2 camera, and it's right around here where the accident starts. They were trying to go 4 wide in turn 2. It looks like Brady Wilmington stuck his nose into a hole which would not work, which turned around the 42 of LJ Toledo and collected Jake Hoover. Oh, maybe? No, Hoover got turned up in the outside wall. Flammable Camaro was in it as well. And wow, Jake Hoover took a pretty big hit right there. And James Edwards barely missing that. Brady Wilmington, you saw him on top of Flammable Camaro as Flammable Camaro was able to drive it away, but he pulled it in behind the wall after that accident. As you can see the smoke coming out of that 8 car on the far right. And you also saw Ferris crashing in the background. So tough break for all of these guys, some of which were running inside the top 10 at the midway. So we're going to have a restart with, I believe, 3 laps to go. Who is going to win it? Will this be the final restart even? You'll have to see. All right, before we get to the restart, I just want to point out here the top 5 runners here, or top 6 rather. Everyone you can see in frame basically. James Johnson, Trivia May on the front row. Johnson has won before, Trivia May has not. And in row 2, you have Jacob Hersner, Riley Nyman, both looking for their first wins. Nyman is actually a rookie. And then you've got row 3 has Caleb Campbell and Sam Lester. Both have won before. Caleb is a 2-time champion, trying to look for some speed in that car, and he's got it in the top 5. And then you can see back there, James Edwards and Scarlett Rose back inside the top 10 after spinning out on lap number 6. You can see back there Caleb Rose, not related to Scarlett, and Jeff Toledo is going to round out your top 10 as we come to the restart here with 3 laps remaining. Good restart for Johnson. Look at Edwards going down to the inside of Caleb Campbell there, and they're 3 wide for second. Jacob Hersner goes down to the inside. Remember, we said he was one of the drivers that has not won yet on the channel. He might be able to do it here today, as well as Riley Nyman in the 6th. 2 laps to go here, and Johnson has a pretty big gap. But he's got to be careful because they could catch up to him if they're able to sniff his draft. It's a 4-car race here. And here comes Hersner to the inside. He is to the inside of James Johnson. Trivia May right behind. They're side by side coming to the white flag. Johnson leads that lap. Here comes May to the outside. May is into the wall. She got stuffed up there, and she will not win this race. Hersner has taken the lead. Can Johnson do anything in turns 3 and 4? He gets to the inside. It's going to be a drag race all the way to the line, just like the first York Cup Series race, but Jacob Hersner is going to hold on and get his first career win on the channel. Excellent finish here at Fresno, and we'll take it right into the results before we show you the replay. Jacob Hersner finishing in first, his first ever win on the channel. He gets it with Joe Gibbs Racing in the number 19 machine. James Johnson finishing in second. He had a very solid outing. He got a lot of points from this race. Third is Riley Nyman. Great finish for the rookie. Fourth is Caleb Campbell. Fifth is Hope Wilmington after having to come back from the back of the pack twice in this race. You got to wonder how she would have been able to compete for the win if she had been up there the entire time. Jeff Toledo, after being involved in a couple of crashes, gets a 6th place finish out of it. Scarlett Rose finishing in 7th after getting spun on lap 6. James Edwards, Sam Lester, Caleb Rose round out the top 10. Here you can see 11th through, well, basically everybody else. Ray Alton almost gets a top 10 finish here after starting at the back of the pack. Trivia May fell to 12th. Grant Hoover still 13th despite getting involved in that lap 3 crash. And then the JGD Doherty cars of Richard Herman and D. Pepper round out the top 15 and also round out the cars that finished. Flambeau Camaro, Brian Ferris, LJ Toledo, Brendan Creason, Jake Hoover, Brady Wilmington, Cookie, Shane Wensloff, Game Player 88, Zachary DeLello, and Trey Wright all failed to finish the race. So now we're going to show you the replay of the finish. Here is the finish once again. James Johnson got a good restart. And you can see he got a really, really big jump there as everybody bottled up behind him. They were 3 wide, almost 4 wide for 2nd place. And Jacob Hersner escaped out of all of that in the 2nd position. They're still 3 wide. You can see there with Trivia May, James Edwards, and Riley Nyman. Coming to 2 to go here. You're never really safe in these races is all I can say. And James Johnson, despite having that huge lead, still was able to get tracked down by Jacob Hersner and Trivia May. And they both fought with him for the win here. Hersner gets to the inside there, but James Johnson still leads that lap. I believe maybe he led the most laps. We'll see here later. And then Trivia May got stuffed into the wall by James Johnson. Johnson just didn't see Trivia May coming up there and got her into the wall. She still finished 12th, though. And you can see Hersner has now cleared the 41. 41 could have really hooked him right there if he wasn't careful, but he was able to slide down to the inside pretty well. And it looked like he might have had it. He had the run coming out of turn 4, but Jacob Hersner was able to side draft him, and he was able to get him at the line. And you can see everybody else crossing the finish line. So a great finish here at Fresno to kick off the Let's Turn Productions Stop Motion Series season. And now we're going to get a look at your point standings as of this race. With so many ways to earn points, it is not surprising that some of these guys that were up front most of the race are getting a bit of a bigger gap over everybody else. But again, this has just been one race. James Johnson at the top of the point standings. Jacob Hersner, despite winning the race, still 6 points behind James Johnson because James Johnson was up near the front consistently in this race. Riley Nyman 3rd, Hope Wilmington 4th, Caleb Campbell 5th, and then Scarlett Rose, Trivia May, Sam Lester, Jeff Toledo, and Brian Ferris. Remember what I said? Winning that midway would help Brian Ferris, and that kept him in the top 10 in points. James Edwards and Caleb Rose, the 25395 racing cars, 11th and 12th. Then it's Ray Alton, Grant Hoover, and Richard Herman. And there's the rest of the field right there in points. Remember, there is no chase for this series. It is pretty much just the top guy in points who's going to win. It's much like the York Legends Series or the Street Stock Series where there is no chase. So congratulations to Jacob Hersner for his first win on the channel. Maybe first of many. Maybe we'll see a dynasty pop up here. I don't know. We could. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. This is Left Turn Productions, signing out.